All right, let's get right into it. We all want that edge, right? We want to achieve something extraordinary. But what if all the common advice we keep hearing is actually the thing that's holding us back? Well, in this explainer, we're going to tear down that old advice and build up a new, powerful framework for really, truly standing out from the crowd.
You've heard it a million times, haven't you? Get up at 5 a.m., take a cold shower, follow that perfect morning routine. But come on, let's be real for a second. If that's all it took, wouldn't a lot more people be, wildly successful? The truth is, it's just not that simple.
And that right there, that's the whole problem in a nutshell. A real competitive advantage can't be something you just find in a viral article. Because if everybody is doing it, it's not an edge anymore. It just becomes the new normal, the price you pay just to play the game.
And this is exactly how so many of us get caught in what I call the common success trap. It's this endless cycle of adopting these popular habits that feel super productive, but they don't actually do anything to separate you from the rest of the pack.
So, here's the big mindset shift we need to make. We've got to stop focusing on all those surface-level tricks that anyone can copy. Instead, we have to start digging deeper to find something that genuinely makes us different. Look, it's not about working harder on the same things as everyone else. It's about working smarter on different things.
Okay, so this brings us to the real core of what we're talking about today. I want you to forget all that productivity noise for just a minute. The path to truly extraordinary success, it can actually be boiled down to a pretty clear three-part formula. This is the stuff that really separates the top 1%.
All right, you ready? Here it is. Number 1, you need to have a contrarian idea. Number 2, you have to be correct about it. And trust me, that's a huge one. And number 3, you have to execute that idea massively. This isn't just some simple little checklist. It's a whole strategic framework. So let's break down each of these parts.
First up, finding that contrarian idea. You can think of this as the absolute foundation for this entire strategy. I mean, without a unique perspective, you're really just playing on the same crowded field as everybody else, fighting for scraps. Now, let's be super clear about what a contrarian idea really is. It's not about being weird or different just for the sake of it, no. It's about challenging the conventional wisdom in a way that creates some kind of real, meaningful value if you turn out to be right.
Let me give you a perfect example. A super common belief is that you just have to work hard and you'll get there. The contrarian angle? Hard work is just a multiplier. The real game changer is applying all that effort to the right strategic focus, the thing that other people are totally overlooking. That's where you get those massive, insane results.
So how in the world do you find one of these ideas? Okay, try this. Start by listing out the big accepted truths in your industry. Then, for each one, try to write down the exact opposite. Now, yeah, most of them are going to sound crazy, but every now and then, one of them will have a little spark of genius, and that's where you start hunting. And here is the big flashing warning sign. Being contrarian is actually pretty easy, but being contrarian and correct, that is incredibly hard. This is the step where most people fall flat on their face, and it's exactly why that second part of our formula is so important.
You see, you can't just run on a gut feeling. No way. You have to validate your idea. And that means you got to do the work. Start with deep research. Really understand the landscape. See what everyone else might have missed. Then, you've got to stress test your idea. Talk to experts, especially the ones who you think will poke holes in your theory. And from there, it's all about action. Run small, cheap experiments to get real-world data, not just opinions. You have to be like a scientist. Your idea is just a hypothesis, and you need to test it relentlessly before you go all in.
All right, on to the final piece of the puzzle, massive execution. Once you have a contrarian idea that you've tested, that you're pretty sure is true, now it's time to act on it with an almost obsessive focus.
And look, massive execution doesn't mean you're doing 100 different things at once. It means the opposite. It means focusing with this laser-like precision on the 1 or 2 activities that actually move the needle. It's about depth, not breadth. You have to be ruthless about ignoring all the busy work that feels productive but doesn't actually get you closer to your real goal.
A fantastic way to structure this is to think in 90-day sprints. Break your big goal down into weekly, bite-sized targets. Define exactly how you're going to measure your success, not with feelings, but with cold, hard numbers. And maybe most importantly, you have to commit to cutting out everything else that doesn't directly serve those specific metrics.
Now, having the right formula is one thing, but having the mental toughness to actually see it through, that's a whole other ballgame. This path is not for the faint of heart, and it requires a very specific kind of mindset. This quote just nails the emotional reality of this journey. When you have a truly contrarian idea, guess what? Most people aren't going to get it, at least not at first. You have to get comfortable with being misunderstood. In fact, it's often a sign that you're really onto something special.
So you've just got to be ready for it. You're going to face skepticism. People are going to criticize your idea. You will probably feel pretty isolated at times. Building that emotional resilience isn't just a nice little bonus, it's a core requirement if you're trying to blaze a new trail.
Okay, let's bring this all home and talk about what really matters. Getting ahead is completely meaningless if you're climbing the wrong ladder. Success has to be defined on your own terms, period. And this is a question you really have to sit with. Are you doing this for external validation, for other people's approval? Or is your drive coming from a deep internal passion for what you're actually building? The answer to that question is going to determine whether your success feels fulfilling or just hollow.
Please remember this powerful insight. Success is just an amplifier. If you're anxious and unfulfilled now, more success is probably just going to make you a more anxious and unfulfilled person. But if you're grounded and you're pursuing something that really matters to you, success will just amplify that incredible sense of purpose. So let's wrap this up with a quick checklist for you to take away. First, you have to define your own version of success. Second, go find that unique, validated idea. Third, build a super focused plan to execute on it like there's no tomorrow. And fourth, build up the mental strength you need to handle the ride.
Because at the end of the day, that's the whole philosophy in a nutshell. It's not about little hacks or shortcuts. It's about a disciplined process of original thought, of rigorous validation, and of unwavering focused action. That is the real path to getting ahead.
And so, I'll leave you with this one final thought to chew on. Take a look at your career, your industry, even your own personal life. What is the one thing that everybody around you just accepts as true that might just be completely wrong? Because challenging that one belief, that could be the start of everything.